What's up? So if you're like me, you probably have started to spend less time in the editor, or using some of these more advanced editing tools or coding tools like Cursor, Claude, OpenCode. These tools just sort of write the code for you, and they're really good, like really, really good. But here's something I didn't understand until recently. These tools aren't just sort of AI plus an editor. There's this thing, a separate process running in the background that's actually the reason any of this really works. It's called a language server, or LSPs. And it's doing something that not necessarily the AI can do itself. So when Claude or Codex generate code, it's basically just making some educated guesses on the code that it produces. And one really great thing is that these language servers actually know. It can tell you that like line 47 has a type error with sort of 100% certainty. And here's the thing. OpenCode, Cursor, all of them, they're running this in a loop. So the model produces some code, the language server checks. If it errors, it goes back and back to the model fixes it, or the harness will like keep going in this repeat cycle until it's clean. That's not necessarily magic, that's LSP. And once you understand it, you understand sort of why these coding harnesses actually work, and honestly, maybe how to build your own. All right, let's break it down and walk through how these LSPs work over here. All right, let me make that a little bit easier to understand. So in this diagram that I put together, it has you with some auth, the AI coding tool. A prompt goes into the model, it comes back with some code. If something changed, the language server will then run. So there's like this TS server, Pyrite, Goppels, Rust Analyzer, and some of these tools don't have full LSP support right now. I think that's why Cursor's just done a good job. So like to maybe walk through this, LLM generates code, the LSP analyzes how accurate it is, errors are fed back to the LLM, including things like typing mismatches, and then the LLM fixes and then sort of like goes in this loop. Let's use Claude Code and let's try and learn a little bit more about it. So we're going to spend some time basically learning more about this and figuring out how LSPs work. We're going to spend about 30 minutes working on this. So let's see how far we go. I'm going to set a timer. I got one of these like super cool timers, by the way, and it like counts backwards. This may say more about me than anything else, but it is for anyone that struggles with managing time, this is super useful. All right, I'm not trying to sell this. It's called Time Timer for anyone interested. So we're going to set the timer for 30 minutes and let's rock and roll. I actually did build an app that does this too. So let's pull up the timer 2 here and put it in our app. So we're going to start the timer. And let me add a new screen. Capture, no. All right, before folks get mad about why does this not centered, it does actually have buttons either side that I have in another iteration of this, but yeah, long story. All right, with that, let's pull up a new ghosty instance and go to and pull this up. Let's make it big so folks can see it. It's a little bit strange with the colors, but bear with me here. All right, you should be able to see this. Okay, so I did spend a little bit of time on this where it came up with something earlier. But let's dig into this. Okay, so let's learn more about the LSP loop with some coding with coding tools. Can you help describe this to me and so I can learn more about it? So Claude's going to go away and do some stuff. Do some stuff. Just going to look at this first, I guess. I saw some real weirdness today with this, and I may hit my limit. We'll see. I'm like, I've been doing some stuff with metal on my machine, which is just absolutely been cooking some tokens right now. So, yeah, we'll see how we get. Okay, so it's done some tool loops. I generally use Codex for these types of things. I generally use Claude. Codex I find just like pretty slow overall. Okay, so how this works. The project demonstrates exactly LSP client that communicates. Let's create a readme.md to describe how this works. So there's this JSON-RPC protocol for standard LSP communication. Part of the reason LSP was introduced is so that there is like this common format for the editors to work with different languages. So like when a language comes out, you don't need to like build a specific language interpreter for each individual coding tool. So like it's super nice to have this like common standard that folks are using between of operability between the two. We're gonna wait for this thing to cook a little bit more. Okay, let's split this and cat read. You can see this, right? Yeah, sweet. Okay. All right, so this is an LSP client. Starts the TypeScript language server, opens up a virtual document with buggy code, collects diagnosis from the LSP. Okay, and there's all these like LSP servers that exist. Okay, let's run the demo. Maybe while it does this. Okay, so the demo success, here's what it did. 2 hours with 42 of the type mismatch. Started essentially with buggy code, LSP errors, return diagnosis, and then it formatted the errors. Okay, like, can we show more of what happens here exactly? Yeah, I guess I should just like look at the code. That would be useful. Okay, it's pretty, let's read this. Without syntax highlighting, it's kind of difficult. AWS, await the LSP, initialize it, open the current document with initial, so it's got like some initial code. Where's the code? Okay, so this is the code that was implemented. Yeah, let's show these. Good idea. So this is like the code that we're trying to interpret, and there's like, it's trying to basically add two words together, and the LSP is going to like come back and tell us why not. We're going to add some logs now to like show how this works. So hopefully I can, is this added? Let's let's do node. Okay. Still not showing the raw out, but this is helpful. So start it. This has some AI generated code, which gives like, these should be two numbers. We're trying to put words in. Iteration one goes through this process. Let's run it again. So no, this isn't still showing the raw JSON. No, show the raw JSON and the output, both request response from the LSP. And like, I always sort of started to wonder like how the coding editors were like did some of this work, and this is like super helpful if you're like trying to I guess build a coding editor, which, you know, there's very few people are trying to do that right now. But knowing a little bit more about some of the internals, I think, are really useful. That I think could be like super helpful here. So this is going to wire format with content length, and we just really want the loop. We want to see the loop basically. I've actually moved from dark mode to light mode, which I've got some productivity gains from, which is slightly strange. Okay. No, still not. Here's what I see in the output that shows. I want the. I want the raw request response to show here and formatted. Okay, I think finally it's going to show the requests. Maybe not. Doing something. Okay, sweet. Okay, so you can see now, we can see the like ins and outs of this LSP. It's going to say did open, and then it opened this. AI generated code has these bugs. Then it'll go through another iteration where it gets the TypeScript version, some diagnostics, Oh, cool. There's like different requests, I guess. Then it responds, goes through another iteration. I guess, yeah, maybe I need to ask a question. What are all the methods that LSPs provide? E.g., yeah. I could probably search for this too, but it's more fun just to use Claude. Found 10 results for LSP language server protocol methods. Okay, I guess it's found something doing its search. I'm basically trying to understand, like, what do these, like, things mean. There's only 7. Wow, there's 50 available. Okay, so there's a couple here. It's like, this was so smart. So it has all of these methods for lifecycle operations: start, did open, did save, and it does it for each language. I mean, they were so smart to do this. Did I close that window? No. All right, let's jump and see this. What is the language protocol? Then there's like specs. I guess these are probably interesting. LSP. The goal of the language server index format. Pronounce like else if. To support rich code navigation in development tools or a web UI without needing a local copy of your source code. So these LSPs like run on locally. I assume they do. Does warp support? But we were nowhere near the parity. I found myself wanting features like LSP and better experience. That's the only thing they said. But I still have to open to see the feedback from the LSP. Yeah, absolutely. ID, new radius 1. Project LSP. OpenCode spins up their own. Comes with several built-in LSP servers. That's sick. So cool that they did this. Super cool. Yeah, so all these things like, was it Pyrite? Is a static type checker for Python that, I guess it's an extension to. Does Pywrite implement LSP? Yes, Pywrite implements a language service protocol, so while its function is static typing. However, the core Pywrite LSP is relatively limited. Pywrite provides features such as error checking, Go types. Pylance is built on top of Pywrite to offer a more advanced feature set. Based is an unofficial. Okay, so there's basically like this community of LSPs, which is like kind of interesting. Zig, nice. And I noticed that like Claude Code Rust Analyzer LSP is like a thing that I think they have. Today I've come up with an idea. This could be really awesome, blah, blah, blah. Code has a built-in LSP integration. I thought I didn't have it all working. Let's see. Claude Code LSP support. Claude Code now has LSP. When was this? 22 days ago. The overwhelming consensus is that this feature is broken. Very interesting. Looks like the bug is still open. 22 days ago. Okay, someone closed it. LSP servers should be configured via plugins and not loaded because the LSP. Okay, they added evidence. The new version is here. This was last week. Fixed LSP tool for me when no LSP servers. They added it as an official release note today and it's still broken. Okay, let's see what else they said here. Okay, a bunch of people complained. What makes us think the new version? Here's just a creator how to set it up and verify it. Oh, cool. Quick setup. Okay, let's do this. I like this as an idea. Okay, so we got 5 minutes of this left, or maybe I'll extend it. Shows how. Let me. Okay, so I'm gonna follow this guide actually that someone put in here. We're gonna install the TypeScript. Yes. Let's find out where this window is. Okay, not the right window. Okay. I'm just gonna follow. This, install Pywrite. I don't really have much Go. Okay, now I've got a Claude. Can you see this? Whoa, did I just mess something up? Oh no. I do this a lot. Is this a bug? No, it's not a bug. It's that I am in the wrong terminal. Okay, we're gonna install Pywrite. Go to Claude, type plugins. This has a bunch that I have in here. What am I actually looking for here? Search for LSP. And it should have, press I to install. Okay. now if I go to plugin again, does it show? Yes, okay. And if it should pick out the Lang server, okay. Run which binary to verify? Exclusion not found. Logs are written to debug. Install. Cool. All right. So if how do you like invoke this plugin? I'm just gonna give it this. Do you have to like call it? No. How do I check that that it's installed? It's just ask Claude Code. So I'm looking here to see if there is a plugin call to Pyrite, and it should show, I think, the plugin use. Okay, so it's going to like test the LSP's working. Now it's going to run this to validate the errors. You should. Okay, Pyrite is working. It shows the type errors. But like, does it run this each time? Let's see this. Create a Python file and then validate that it works. Let's see if it actually uses Pyrite to do this. It's surprising that it just uses Bash. Like, is that its implementation of LSP? I would have hopefully it was like a tool. Okay, so it's going to write and validate that it works. I guess maybe it's just going to run the code. No, it does run Pyrite. Okay, that's sick. That's so helpful. To put that in context, like what traditionally will happen is maybe I should do that. Maybe I should wrap this up. It's been 30 minutes. Okay, let's jump back to the other machine, but like maybe it's just a recap what we did. We spent some time looking at LSP and by basically learning a little bit more about what LSPs are, and it's this language server protocol that Microsoft came up with. It has a bunch of super interesting methods inside the browser that helps you that help these tools communicate with languages and provides basically some protocol between the two. They're super useful for these AI coding tools. And I actually learned quite a bit today, where we had the LSP, we like ran it on the right side here to like see what it did, and it sort of does, like in this example, like checks that the typing the thing this does some type checking, but it has like a bunch of methods based on when there's changes, when the file is saved, and provides this protocol between sort of the IDE and the language itself to figure out if you're writing code that sort of makes sense. And you can see how like makes sense is like probably pretty useful for these coding agents. We saw that Anthropic had added this. When did they make some changes to this? Way more recently. Was it at least the last 10 days or so? It was super cool to see that it runs these. It runs Pyrite on these things, so it's using the tools that it has to do some checking in these iteration loops, because you don't really want, like, at times I've personally experienced this where you will make a call, you'll like build something and then you'll try and run it and then it hits an error and you're like, well, now I have to like type back into the model, hey, my thing didn't compile. Like, why didn't it compile? Or, hey, I get a TypeScript error. Like, I have some typing error. Like, go fix my typing error. And like, LSPs make that so much easier. Which is like so interesting. All right. I guess I kind of just wrap things up. With that, I'm gonna end it there, as we're out of time. If you found any value in this, I really, really appreciate it. And if you have ideas for other stuff, feel free to reach out. With that, thank you, and enjoy the long